It's my big honor to invite Beyenne, who always knows how to motivate everyone, despite all of the realities that we find after Beyenne. We will start the closing. Thank you so much, Beyenne, for listening so carefully, and we can't wait to hear how you want to respond to everything that has been said. Please.
Thank you, my professor. Hey, I know it has been a long day. I will try to make it short. First of all, let me say thank you, EEPA, for organizing this very important meeting. Of course, for my team, Eritrean Human Rights Defender. Thank you. I want to add on what we have heard before. What Gereghzer has mentioned, and another speaker, if I don't forget her name, Pohop, and our Sudan sister, Ella. They mentioned the impact of our personal dictator, Eritrean autocratic leader. What was his role in the genocide, and what have been doing in Sudan's civil war since it started. As we all are aware of it, or aware of the actions of the personal dictator, we should insist to bring change in Eritrea. There is no a solution apart from Tigray or apart from Eritrea. Our future is together, as our past was together. So we should integrate our communities, Sudan community, Eritrean community, and Tigrayan community. Human rights violation in Eritrea. Mohammed Bakr, the special reporter on the situation human rights in Eritrea, on his recent report, he said human rights violation in Eritrea remain dire. Yes, we know. There will be no improvement on the situation of human rights in Eritrea until the personal dictator is in power. The vital thing is regime change. We should call together regime change in Eritrea. He destabilized and undermined the security of the regime for the past 30 years. The UN has documented above 600 cases what's happened to Eritrean people. He has also committed genocide in Eritrea, as he committed war crimes and genocide in Tigray. Also now, he started to intervene in the Sudan civil war. So, as the UN documented and the another international communities have been said for the last 20 years, we should strong together. And now I start to read my message. Good afternoon again, everyone. My name is Beyenne. I am an Eritrean with a refugee background, now living in the Netherlands, and a survivor of human trafficking in Libya. I am not standing only in front of you only as a speaker. also as a survivor of human trafficking in Libya. For over a decade, I have dedicated myself to advocating for the rights of Eritreans, shedding lights on the human rights abuses we endure at the hands of a brutal regime and transnational trafficking networks. As a passionate advocate for justice, I work towards a future where human rights are upheld and Eritreans can return to live in peace and harmony. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak on this important topic, an agenda to stop impunity, the relevance of the case against the criminal networks of human trafficking for ransom, the Walid and Kidane case. I know it has been a long day, so I will keep my remarks concise. The Walid and the Kidane human trafficking case highlights the transnational crimes Eritrean face. In this presentation, I aim to provide context to this broader issue, helping the international community understand the scale and gravity of these cross-border crimes and how meaningful action can break the cycle, and the role of transnational repression in enabling these crimes. Ultimately, this will demonstrate why cases like Walid and Kidane's must be addressed as part of a large systematic issue. The reality of Eritrean youth. Eritrean youth grim reality shaped by systematic oppression and exploitation. Their lives are restricted by the regime policies, which systematically deny them basic freedoms and opportunities. Faces systematically denial of basic freedoms, forced military conscription, and harsh conditions, with no access to justice or opportunities for advancement. Thousands flee the country, risking their lives for freedom, like me. Currently, approximately 30% of Eritrea's population has fled, a sobering statistics that underscores the severity of the situation. However, even on this dangerous journey, Eritreans face grave threats, falling victims to human trafficking and money laundering by organized crime networks with alleged ties to the Eritrean regime. The scale of transnational human trafficking. Human trafficking is not limited to Eritrea. It transcends borders. Eritreans fleeing their homeland often fall victim to global trafficking networks. One of the most infamous cases is that of Tawalde Goito, also known as Walid. The case of Walid. Walid is accused of leading a criminal network responsible for heinous abuses in Libya. Refugees were held captive, tortured, and extorted for exorbitant ransoms. Arrested in Ethiopia in 2020, Walid was extradited to the Netherlands in 2022. And his trial began in January 2023. This trial is a significant milestone in holding traffickers accountable. However, justice for Eritrean victims remains intangible. The transnational nature of this crime complicates the fight for justice. Victims are often too traumatized to come forward, fearing relations against themselves or their families. This pervasive fear not only silences individual cries for help, but also hinders collective effort. The Eritrean regime profits from this dual network of transnational trafficking and repression. Regime sanctioned networks. The Eritrean regime employed a strategic network of individuals and operative within the diaspora to monitor, intimidate, and suppress dissent. Eritrean embassies often serve as central hubs for these activities. For instance, Johannes Tesfamke, the Eritrean ambassador to South Sudan, recently articulated the regime's strategy of maintaining control over the diaspora, referring to it as the force fraud, what we call 4G. This network ensures that no Eritrean abroad is beyond the regime's reach, fostering an atmosphere of fear and control. Alarmingly, many of these actors are directly involved in human trafficking, exploiting the very refugees who have fled the regime's abuses. Exploitation of vulnerability. Eritrean refugees are easy targets for exploitation. Traffickers often linked to regime affiliates manipulate their desperation and lack of legal protection. Financial gain. Many regimes' collaborators profit from trafficking while sustaining the government's oppressive structures. They monitor the diaspora, suppress dissent, and orchestrate trafficking schemes that exploit Eritrean peace. Fear and dependency. Transnational repression keeps refugees in fear of being reported to the regime. This silence their grievance, making them more compliant with traffickers' demands. This cycle depends their reliance on smugglers and traffickers. The role of global movements. In response to these atrocities, Eritreans worldwide have rallied under a collective movement called Someo Soran, or it means Blue Revolution. This global initiative seeks to expose the regime's oppressive practices and advocate for justice and freedom. Among the key advocates for Eritrean youth is the Eritrean Right Future Movement, which has been actively working for the past 8 years to address the needs of Eritrean refugees and empower our young people. We focus on this main objectives: empower Eritrean youth to integrate into their host countries. The second, educate them about their basic rights and responsibilities, and advocate for systematic change to dismantle the regime's oppressive networks. However, this advocacy faces significant challenges. The root cause of systematic exploitation persists, and some former victims of trafficking and asylum seekers now support the regime, perpetuating cycles of abuse even in nations where freedom and safety should prevail. In conclusion, Eritrean refugees, particularly the youth, are trapped in a devastating cycle of exploitation, forced labor, and transnational oppression, all enabled by a regime that profits from their suffering. The case of the world wallet is not just a criminal threat. It symbolizes the larger fight against systematic human trafficking and oppressive networks, targeting Eritreans at home and abroad. The connection of human trafficking and transnational repression highlights the urgent need for global accountability and protection for the refugees. The regime's use of fear and surveillance, even in the diaspora, ensure victims' voices remain silenced and their suffering perpetuated. As an Eritrean and survivor of these atrocities, I call upon the international community to take meaningful action to dismantle the exploitative networks, held perpetrators accountable, and protect the dignity and rights of Eritrean refugees worldwide. Together, we can break the cycle of impunity and work toward a future where Eritreans live free from fear, oppression, and exploitation. Thank you for me.
Thank you so very much, Beyenne, and the whole team of human rights defenders. We're so grateful to have been able to organize this day with you.